Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here down at Motorcycle Park in the mighty mini-tropolis of Marnie, Iowa, and look what I got for us today. This is my Royal Enfield Himalayan 452, and I have got, as of today, I got the bike 6 weeks ago today. I've got 11,000 miles on it. I have got a lot to say about this. This is going to be our 11,000 mile 6-week review, and I have had a lot of fun with that motorcycle. I've been in at least 13 states, all the way down to Alabama, Mississippi, Tennessee, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, of course, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, all over Nebraska, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado. I think that's all of them. I'm not sure, but and we're going to Colorado tomorrow at 5 a.m. I just got back from the Sand Hills of Nebraska yesterday evening, and this is Friday. Tomorrow we're going to go to Colorado for a few days. And then I've got some good plans after that too. So this thing has been everywhere, and it has worked like a charm. It has not missed a beat. It is a better motorcycle than I'm a rider. It has everything you could ever possibly want. It will do all kinds of roads. It will do everything. So let's start with what it is. It is Royal Enfield's ADV bike, adventure bike. It's their one bike that does it all. I call it my SUM bike, the single universal motorcycle. It's got a 452cc single cylinder, liquid cooled single cylinder, dual overhead cam, 4-valve engine, and it revs to, I think it's, the red line is 8,000, but I think this one might have seen a little over 9,000 a couple times. There is a rev limiter in first gear. The motor puts out about 40 horsepower and has 30 foot-pounds of torque. That's about 40 newton meters. All that wonderful stuff. There's the radiator in the front. Goes through this absolutely well done 6-speed transmission. Right here is a shifter, which on my bike is bent because I hit a raccoon a couple days ago. 6 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, something like that. And the poor thing hit this and it just bent right underneath the pedal. I had to bend it back. I've got a new one ordered, but I don't know if I'll actually change it. Anyway, beautiful transmission. So let's start with the engine. The engine has loads of torque and it's all in the right spot. Now it's got, like I said, loads of torque. It's not like the old 411 Himalayan. I had one of those. I put 31,000 miles on it, and that was a real tractor engine. That motor, you know, you could second, third, fourth, fifth gear, whatever, it would just lug along, no trouble at all. This one's a little like that, but it's a little more gear sensitive. You know, if you're going less than 40 miles an hour in 6th gear, it's going to let you know. It's going to let you know, but it will lug pretty good, and it does. It's got loads of torque. It will BDR. I mean, we took this on Colorado, some of their BDRs, and I've had it off-road and in the sand and all kinds of things. So it's got very good gearing, and it works very well. It's got plenty of power. On the top end of the power band, I have taken this, I did 1,030 miles in one day in 16 hours and 1 minute. I went all the way up to North Dakota, had a sandwich, turned around and came home. And that was all interstate. In the I went 80-85 the whole time. The bike never missed a beat. It'll go over 100. It'll, if you want it to, you know. And it just performed beautifully. And I've had this on, you know, I went down to Alabama. That was 800 miles. I think it was 700 or 800. I think it was 800 miles down, 800 miles back. 800 miles down one day, 800 miles back. You know, and it does interstate just superbly. You know, I was in, like I said, I just got back from Nebraska yesterday. That was 350 mile day, no problem at all. You know, just buzz right down the old roadway. It works. The motor has got what it needs, and it does it really well. I haven't had any issues with it. One of the big questions getting asked is about oil consumption. It's a big single cylinder. I would expect there to be oil consumption at some point, but as of right now, the thing has not used a drop of oil. I think Royal Enfield did one oil change before they gave it to us. The company we got these bikes on the 23rd of August at 8:30 in the morning. That was the official release date and time for these motorcycles in America. We flew out to Utah and we picked this up right from Royal Enfield. Anyway, they did an oil change on it, and then I've done 2 cents, and next week I've got one scheduled. I've also done 1 valve check, and all the valves were in spec, and that was really amazing too. So the motor is rock solid. You know, it's has not, like I said, hasn't missed a beat for us yet. We get back from Colorado, I'll probably do a oil change and then another valve check to see if there's anything that has to be done. So the first valve check is at 6,000. The second valve check is 6,000 miles after that. And then after that, it's a valve check every 12,000 miles. So very good maintenance cycles. I love the engine. You know, the engine is what we are all hoping for. As an old Himalayan owner, we all wanted, we all wanted an engine that was very capable and much improved over the old one. The old Himalayan would not go fast. This one will go fast all day long. So Fuzzy Biker said so. So there you go. So going to the transmission on this thing, this has a 6-speed transmission and it works really well in every way, but it's got some kind of peculiarities, like the distance from first to second gear is longer than it is from second, third, fourth, and fifth. The distance from fifth to sixth is, it's kind of an oddball thing. If you don't push it all the way up into 6, you'll hit a false neutral in there. That's only happened to me 4 times maybe, but it is there, so it's something you have to be aware of and understand that happens. But the transmission has been designed to work very well, and it does work very well in literally every range, whether you're climbing a rock road in Colorado, or going down the interstate, or going through town, or in every single situation, it seems to work very well. How Royal Enfield did that is beyond me, because I think it's an excellent transmission. Very good. So as superb as all that is, and as thrilled as we all were with all that, and that's what we wanted when we when the new Himalayans came out. That's what we wanted. The thing that really blew everybody away, me included, was the suspension. It's got the same 90/90/21 front tire. It's got the same 17-inch rear tire, although it's a little bigger. This is a 140, I think. Mine has a 130 on it now, but the original had a 120 17. This one came with a 140 17. But everything else is different. So, for instance, the suspension now is a 43mm upside down fork. Look at all the dirt on that thing. Good grief. So, there's less mass from here down. There's less weight down here that has to move. This is more rigid structure on top. The big heavy tubes are up here. Everything is more, it's like a larger framework to hold all this. If you notice there's no fork brace here, it's because they don't need one. They've done a really good job with that. It's got 8 inches of suspension on the front, about what the old one had. It's about 200mm. And my bike is just filthy. Like I said, it's got 11,000 miles on it. And then the other thing they did, I thought the old Himalayan had good brakes. Maybe not great brakes, but good brakes. This one has got a larger disc. This has got a 320mm disc on the front. The old one had a 300. With a dual piston bi-brake caliper, has better feel, much better braking capability. Works excellent. I like it. They've done a really good job. If you have a big front tire like that, you can run over things better, potholes or rocks or whatever. You got a lot of suspension to absorb things. The whole thing just works really, really well. And then, of course, now new, better brakes and ABS, by the way, on the front and rear. The rear, you can shut the ABS off. So there's a lot going on just right here alone that they've done. Just right here in this area alone, they've done so much to make this a better motorcycle than it was before. This is a tube tire. I'm okay with that. The last one had tubes too. They are coming out with a tubeless version. We think either the end of October or the end of November. If that was an option that I could have gotten now, I would have gotten that, but I'm very happy with this. Jumping back here to the rear suspension, just real quick, the ground clearance on this motorcycle is 230mm or 9 inches. That's just a little more than it was before. Now the bike's on the center stand, so it looks pretty tall. Oh, and I want to show you something about that. Speaking of center stand, so look at this. It's on the center stand. Look how balanced this is. I can move this with one hand. It's not heavy on the front. It's not heavy on the rear. It's very well balanced. They did a good job on that. Okay, so moving back to the back. The rear suspension is again about 8 inches. They increased that from 7.1. That's about 200mm. The old was 180. They have a monoshock that's a Showa monoshock now. This is a Showa front fork system, by the way. So we got a Showa monoshock on the back, adjustable for the springs, adjustable. What do they call that? Preload. And now the link, it's a link system, but the link's up here. The old bike had a link down here that you could see, and I always thought, if you were out roughing about, you might catch that link on something. Well, now it's all up here, and it's a little more hidden, Very good job on their part there. It's got a 270 disc on the rear with a single piston bi-brake caliper, a very good back brake. Very happy with that. And here's something that's a real surprise. My first Himalayan, I had to change the chain 8,000 miles, and at 16,000 miles, and I bought a really good chain, and that's on the bike right now. So this bike has got 11,000 miles on it. I have adjusted the chain twice. I adjusted it at 7,600 when I had the bike in the shop for the valve check. And then the very next day I put a tire on it, a new tire on the back, this Dunlop Trail Max Mission. And that was, those are the 2 times I adjusted the chain. And it's, look at it. Now I keep my chain lubed. That's something I take care of religiously. And I think that makes a difference. But it's a better chain than the old bike, I would say. And look at this tire. I wore the original Seat tire out. I had about 7,600 miles on it. I had a 2,000 mile ride coming up. I think the tire would have made it, but I was going to go down to Alabama, and I thought, time to change the tire. So I went ahead and put this on. This is the tire calls for a 17-140. I had a 17-130, and so I went ahead and put that on. A little more room here. I like it. The other option, Dunlop does not make a Trail Max Mission in a 17-140, so you can either go 130 or 150, and I went with 130. Just this whole rear end here is just so well designed. Look at all that room. Look at how it looks like it has a tail tidy right from the factory. Absolutely great. These are the tail lights, the brake lights, and the blinkers all in one. When you follow one of these bikes, you soon realize how visible these are because of this wide spread between the lights and the 2 separate lights. So seat height on this bike is something that I don't even want to tell you that. What I want to tell you is go to the dealer and sit on one. Go to the dealer and sit on one and see what you think. And the reason I'm saying that is the numbers say that it's a tall bike. The numbers say the seat is 2 position. This is in the high position right now, and that's about 33.25 inches. That's about 845 millimeters. And in the low position, it's 32.5 inches, or about 825 millimeters. I don't think you should go by that, because my old Royal Enfield Himalayan was 31.5 inches, about 800 millimeters, before I put the custom seat on it. But that bike feels taller than this bike, and I think the big difference is, if you look at it, see how narrow that seat is? Let me get these Noru gloves out of the way. Very narrow in the front, so when you put your legs down, you've got loads of, it just feels like you're in the bike doesn't feel as tall as the paperwork says, so I would say go to your dealer and check one out. Very good job on their part. Very low center of gravity, by the way. I think it has a lower center of gravity than the old Himalayan. I had the 411, like I said, I had it for almost 3 years, 31,000 miles. The week before I picked this bike up, I put 1,000 miles on my 411 Himalayan. And then I picked this one up and put about 1,400 miles on this, 1,200 miles, something like that, in 49 hours. And my conclusion was this has it handles better, it does everything better, but it also has a lower center of gravity. We laid this on the ground in a friend of mine's lawn, and we're in our 60s, and he was able to pick this thing up and put it back down to the ground twice without any issues. Literally using the handlebars, not turning your back to it and using your legs, and he just did it. It was just amazing. So I had to pick up my 411 once, and it was all I could do to get it off the ground. So I think this has a lower center of gravity. Very good job on their part. Fuel tank is, they claim 17 liters, about 4.5 gallons. I ran this out of gas one day, literally at the gas pump. It took 4 gallons. I had it on the side stand, and what I've decided is, if you run it out of gas and have it on the side stand, it'll take 4 gallons. If you put it on the center stand, it'll take about 4.3 gallons, because I filled this up on the side stand before, stopped, put it up on the center, and it'll take about 0.3 of a gallon more. So that's where the other gas disappeared to. So plenty of fuel. Fuel mileage, if you are, like we were in Colorado doing the BDRs and stuff like that, we were getting in the 70s for mileage. And when we were on the pavement, doing, I did a dozen mountain passes in 3 days on this thing. And I'm going back there tomorrow. Anyway, we were getting in the 60s, on the paved roads, we were going a little faster and having more fun. But the worst mileage I got when I did my 1,000-mile day ride, I got into South Dakota, where the speed limit on the interstate I-29 was 85 miles an hour. So I got in the 90s, keeping up with traffic. And I got 37 miles a gallon on 1 tank of fuel. So I slowed down to about 80, 85, and I was getting about 42, 43 miles a gallon. So it doesn't do too bad, considering it has a 4.5 gallon tank. I'm happy with the tank. Initially, I thought the gas tank was too small. If it was bigger, sure, I'd take it. But for the average person, and even for me, the gas tank is probably just fine. If it was bigger, then it'd be a little more top heavy when it was full, Good job on their part there again. I like it. I like it a lot. Comfort on the motorcycle. When you sit on it, if you look from the seat to here, that's a very short distance. And when I sat on it, initially I thought, this is a very tight triangle, very tight triangle through here. And I thought, how's that going to work out? And I really thought that was going to be a problem, but when in usage, when I was banging down the roads with it, it just never was a problem. You know, I did that 1,000-mile day ride. I never once thought my knees are just killing me because of this, and I don't know the reasoning for that, but that's how it is. So why are the pegs so high? Well, because it's an ADV bike, they want ground clearance, and the other part is the pegs are here, so when you stand up, you're in the right spot. You know, you're in the right, literally the right place, and then when you stand up, you're leaning slightly forward, your hands are on the bars, you got more weight on the front tire, and it works. It's done perfectly. A lot of guys are talking about putting risers on theirs. I don't think I'm going to do that on mine. I like the way the bars are on this bike as it is. It's a very comfortable bike, and it's a very comfortable seat too, by the way. You know, it's wide in the back, narrow in the front, gives you lots of options for sitting. And I've got 11,000 miles in the last 6 weeks, and I'm very happy with that seat. I think I'm good with that one. When the seat gets soft, and usually that happens about 8,000 miles, that has not happened yet, I'll trade it off for the Royal Enfield touring seat. They have a touring seat that they make for this. Jumping up here to the front, LED headlight, LED blinkers, you know, turn signals, little covers on the to cover up the forks. The fender's got plenty of room here, although I'm told it could use more. This is the tire right now with about 11,000 miles on it. Still not bad, but I think I'm going to replace it with a Dunlop Trail Max Mission. You know, it's got the beaked fender look. A lot of people ask why. It's style, pure style. It's got these racks on the back, on the side, I mean, so you can put bags on there if you want. There are lots of loops here. And I'm hoping Enfield makes some that fit on there that say Royal Enfield on them, because I want the bike to say Royal Enfield. I'm a big fanboy of the old Enfield. This is the tall windshield from Royal Enfield. The standard one is about this high. I got the tall one. Royal Enfield threw that in for me. I really appreciate that. Does it make a lot of difference? A lot of my friends have rode this bike, and they've rode their Himalayans, which have the standard shields. They say they really can't tell the difference. I rode their bikes. I ride this bike. I say I can barely tell the difference. But on an 800-mile ride, barely telling the difference, that barely difference is a big deal. It keeps the wind off you from about here down. I wish that the windshield was designed better. When you're sitting on the bike, the windshield does not, a lot of the bugs get into your helmet. You know, if it was just a little better designed or a little different design, maybe the bugs would go over your helmet a little better, you know. So they could do something there, and I'd also like it to be a little wider. Now, Baxter Cycle down here, baxtercycle.com, they sell a windshield for this that's a little bit wider and just about ½ an inch taller. And our good buddy Jim, he lent us his bike here a week or two ago. He's got one on there, and I thought it worked pretty well. No buffeting that I could discern. I wear a showy Neotech 2 helmet, and no trouble at all. Jumping over here, let's look at the top end of this bike. This is my box up, and I just love that box. So it's got this awesome electronic package, and I'm saying that I'm serious, and I'm also a little facetious. It has very little electronics, you know. It doesn't have traction control. It has ABS, that's about it. It doesn't have riding modes, although it does have what they call an eco mode, but I'm not even going to count that as a mode, because who would put their bike in eco? You know, it's 450. How bad can it be, right? And that's good, because that means there's less stuff to break. There's less systems, you know, less sensors that have to be in place that can go wrong. There's less wiring. There's, you know, less of that stuff. So there's less, you know, the bike is more solid, built more rock-like, you know. And this thing, I call these the Oculus. It's like a giant eyeball, but look at that. So check that out. I got a tack on the outside, gear indicator in the center, fuel gauge right through here, speedometer over here, the time, outside temperature, so the ambient air temperature, and then I've got the odometer right there, and then you hit this little toggle switch here, and that brings this stuff up down here. So trip meter 1, trip meter 2, fuel range, fuel consumption, voltage, service due, engine temperature. That's all the little options that you get right there. Very nice. It's easy to see. It turns black at night, so you don't have that glare in your face. The one thing I do not like about it is it dims itself when it's in the white mode like this. If it gets in a real bright, anyway, it'll change the how bright it is, and I wish I could turn that off, you know, because I wish it was just bright all the time or in the black mode. I don't like it when it dims. It makes it hard for me to see. I'm an old man. I have bad eyes, right? So how's that for a confession? Jumping over here, it's got excellent levers. I should have mentioned this with the clutch, or with the engine, but the clutch, it's got an awesome clutch. Now, when I got this bike initially, This distance here was so great. It's probably one of the biggest distances on almost any bike I've ever ridden. I had a problem with it in the beginning, but it became a non-issue, and I actually like it a lot. And what I've learned about this is the clutch has got incredible feel. There's a very large friction zone, and it's incredibly predictable, and it works very well. It just works very well. And also from a dead stop, you put this thing in first gear, don't give it any gas, just let out the clutch and it'll automatically give itself just a little bit of gas to get you rolling, and then you can give it the fuel. And it's fly-by-wire, by the way, and I love the fly-by-wire option. So there's a clutch lever, the grip. Here's a home button here to get you back to, I really don't know what the home button does. Pass, flash to pass, low beam, high beam, that's high beam, low beam, blinkers, horn, joystick to control that little doodad down there that I was showing you. Over here we've got the kill switch over there, run switch there, start switch. This is the mode button. You can use that to turn on and off your ABS and also to put it into eco mode. So that's that stuff. This is something I added. That's my tire pressure indicator. I have through Bluetooth, it works from the tires, the little valve stem things that work on there. I got this for, it's right there's the brand. I got that off Amazon for $55. I've got it on one of my other motorcycles. I love it. Gives me real time of what my tire pressure is. I like it a lot. So let's talk about mirrors. So the mirrors are good enough. The mirrors are, they're in the right spot. You know, you can see really well from where they're at. They're not, you don't get a lot of shoulder. They vibrate over 70, 75. By 80, they're almost, especially the left one, it's very hard to see out of. I would like to get some of those Royal Enfield touring mirrors. They're on my list of what I want. They're not cheap. They're about $240 or something like that. So Royal Enfield, if you're listening, send me a pair. Actually, I got 3 Royal Enfields. Send me 3 pair, would you? How's that for a plug? But no, the mirrors work pretty good until about 70, 75. So that's how that all goes. And it's just really neat. Like this whole, it's a very neat place to, you know, I've become kind of attached to this bike. Kind of got a symbiotic relationship with it or something. How does the bike do as far as comfort? I think I talked about that already. I talked about the seating position. You do sit up straight almost. You lean forward just slightly, but you know, I think it's a very comfortable position. I do use the back foot pegs a lot when I'm riding. I put my feet from here back to here, and I like that. If I were to get engine guards, I would probably put foot pegs on the engine guards, but I don't see myself doing that. You know, at first I thought, well, you know, maybe I need a different engine bash plate, and you know, this one that it does have, it's on this side. That's actually plastic. But I got looking online, a lot of the ones that they want you to replace that with are made out of plastic too. So, and my old Enfield, I never once hit the bash plate. I never bashed my bash plate. How's that sound? So now that I have this bike, part of my daily checks are my tire pressure, which I do with the gauge, my chain tension, oil it. I check my engine oil, and I also check, I take a flashlight and shine it behind here, and you can get the, that's how your engine coolant is, so you have to check your engine coolant. While I'm talking about that kind of stuff, it says here you have to use 91 octane gasoline. I don't know if that's an Indian thing or an American thing. I've been feeding it 91 octane when I can get it, and it works pretty good. About going down the highway with this hot rod, I just came back from Nebraska yesterday afternoon. Well, I left Nebraska about 9:40 in the morning, 9:20 in the morning, got back about 4. And it was really windy yesterday. I was going east for the most part, and the wind was coming straight out of the north, 30, 35 mile an hour gust. The bike weighs 430 pounds. That's about 195 kilograms. And it handled the wind very well. You could tell it was a windy day, but the bike handled it very well. The mass of the bike was good, you know. The handling of the bike is good. It has very light handling in the front. It is a long wheelbase, so it has a very stable ride. I was very happy with it. It's a 59.4 inch wheelbase. That's 1,510 millimeters. And I was just thrilled with how it rode. Now I rode this, you know, I've ridden this bunch of BDRs and things like that. We went to Cumberland Pass. We went to over a dozen passes in Colorado. You know, did a bunch of the BDR out there. The bike handled that really well. We did a bunch of mud with it. We did some river crossings with it. You know, the river crossings, the water was knee deep on me. So about here. And the intake for the air is over here somewhere. So, you know, a lot of distance there. Didn't have any trouble with that at all. One of the rivers we crossed, the one that was knee deep, we walked it and there was like basketball sized rocks in there. I don't know if they were really that big, but they felt like it. So I walked the bike over under its own power, and we got it to the other side, and we felt like champions. You know, we were like, yay, high-fiving and all that stuff. And my buddy was on his, he has the same bike in a Casa Brown. Very, very good motorcycle. You know, they handle superbly. They handle superbly. I've been all over on 2-lane blacktops, you know. It just does it well. about yesterday again, you know, grain harvest season is in full swing right now in Iowa and Nebraska. Nebraska's speed limits are 65 and 70. I was doing, you know, passes, 6-gear passes without having to downshift. No trouble at all, you know, passing these big grain trucks and things like that. And it just has plenty of what it needs. You know, I went through St. Louis on this at rush hour, and it was a experience to it was something else. Bike did it just fine. I've been through Kansas City a couple times on this bike, again at rush hour on the interstate, no trouble at all. You know, same with Omaha, and it will do the roads. This bike will do fast. You know, it's enough to keep up with traffic and then some. So it's a very good bike in that sense. I am very happy with this bike. I am just thrilled to death with it. Add-ons, like I said, I should talk about that real quick. I did this taller windshield. I'm happy with that. I wish it was taller, but we'll look for something different with that. You know, I want to see. I've looked at different pipe systems. I did a couple of videos on that. AEW has a really nice pipe. I don't want the extra loudness, so I think I'll leave that alone. I put this Dunlop Trail Mix tire on the back. I think I'm going to put one on the front as well. I had one of those on my last Himalayan on the front and back. I think I did 2 on the back, and I was on. Still has one on the front. The one on the front has 18,000 or 19,000 miles on it. I would expect the same out of that on this bike. One of the best adds I did to this bike was this box. This is a Royal Enfield, I think. Let's see. Yep, Royal Enfield right there. It comes with this pad on the back. It pops off. There's a little lever inside. You just twist it, and the whole box. Oh, I got stuff in there. But you know, when I just went on a camping trip, and you know, it's a lined box. You know. I don't think I would call it waterproof, but it's certainly water resistant. Yeah, maybe it's waterproof. I don't know. I haven't been caught in the rain with it yet, but always carry plenty to drink when you ride motorcycle. Very important. But I love that box. That's my trunk, and you know, get hot, I just take my liner out of my jacket, put the liner in there, or whatever I need. You know, my drink. Stop at a gas station, I can just hop off, get a drink out of the back. Very happy with it. I tied my sleeping mat on the back of this on top yesterday. Worked very well. Just a really good thing. I will probably get the touring seat when this wears out. I'm in a dilemma about bags. I'd like to have hard bags, but I also know I'm going to do it. Like, you know, we're going to Colorado tomorrow morning. We're going to leave about 5 a.m. and we're going to hit some BDR out there, and you don't really want hard bags on a bike when you're doing BDR. So I'd like to get some soft bags maybe. I haven't decided yet, you know. Hard bags are nice because they're convenient, easy to get in and out of. You know, they have lots of stuff. Soft bags are nice because, well, when the bike falls over, they don't get in the way. You know, they're not as cumbersome. They work pretty well, but they're a little hard to get in and out of. I like to have a set that hang on the side and are easy to take off. So when I get somewhere and just pull them off, go into the hotel, or you know, when I'm camping or whatnot. I would like to have something like that, I think. And of course, a bigger windshield and different mirrors. This thing was another good add too. I think I mentioned that already. The air pressure thing. I got this little bag here for just little tiny things. There's a battery charger port, a USB-C that comes with the bike right underneath there somewhere. Very nice, very fast charging too. It's a great bike. I just can't say enough good about it. It's the ultimate camping bike. I've been on plenty of camping trips already. I'm going to go to Alaska next year. I'm hoping June. And if y'all are interested in something like that, let me know. It would be fun to get a group together. But I am taking that bike. I'll make sure it's in tip-top shape. By then, it'll probably have 30,000 miles on it. The trip should take about 8,000 miles, is my figuring at this point. And it'll probably take a month to do. You know, there's no sense in you can do it in 3 weeks, I suppose, or 2.5 weeks. But why rush it, right? But look at that thing. Isn't that just a beautiful bike? Absolutely gorgeous bike. You know, I just thought of something. The other thing people talk about is when the thing is on its side stand. That's the side stand right there. When it's on its side stand, the bike really leans a lot. And I had a problem with that the first time I went to put it on the side stand. I thought I was going to drop the bike. Well, I've gotten used to it. It's not a problem at all. So why did they do it? Now, there's a lot of things on the internet about why. I think they did it because they wanted the bike to be easy to get on and off of. You know, sitting on the dealer floor and somebody wants to throw the leg over. They didn't want this tall bike. They wanted it to be easier and more accessible. And so they did that. That's my theory, personal fuzzy biker theory. I thought about getting a cat delete pipe, keeping the stock muffler. I don't think I'm going to do that at this point. I think I might do that in the future. I just don't want the bike any louder than it is now. You know, I value a bike that, you know, I have to sit on these things for 500, 600, 700, 800 miles in a day, and I just don't want to hear that loud pipe droning on in my, in my ear back there. So It's a beautiful machine. It really is. And it has a one feature. It has a couple features. One, it has a 3-year warranty, unlimited mile warranty. So I have 3 years to try to destroy this thing. And on my last one, I didn't have any trouble. You know, it just worked really well. But the other thing it has is, and this is, I am calling this a feature. You will ride this bike into the rough, into the sticks, you'll do things with this that you will not do with a larger, heavier ADV bike, because you will do it with this because this one is not as heavy, but you'll also do it because this one costs a third the price, a fourth the price. You know, you can get one of these, you can get a bike just like this for $6,300 out the door at baxtercycle.com, and they do ship to most places. Give them a call if you're interested. But that is a feature. I have been riding with lots of guys. You know, I've had friends tell me they can't go ride today because it might rain, you know, or they won't go on gravel because they don't want to get their bike sturdy. A good friend of mine, very skilled rider, going up a hill, and you know, rocks everywhere. He just stopped, turned around, went back. I finished the ride. I was on my 411. You know, the cost of a bike, you know, these other ADV bikes, these big, they're powerful, they're beautiful machines, but they're also expensive and they're heavy, and that takes a lot of the fun out of it. This is just enough motorcycle to do everything. I dare I say that this bike will keep up or lead any of those bigger bikes, and it'll do it better in the rough, on the rough roads. And it'll do it better because it's lighter, it's got great ground clearance, it's maneuverable, and it's got plenty of power. It'll do the job, plenty of torque, plenty of power. Now, if y'all are interested in a motorcycle like this, a near used Royal Enfield, Triumph, classic British bike of any type, need parts, accessories, thingamajigs, doodads, anything at all, jackets, coats, you know, gear. I've got these wonderful Noru gloves, for instance, or I usually am wearing my Royal Enfield. I'm wearing my Royal Enfield Explorer jacket today, only it's not here, it's up at the shop. And I've got my Neotech helmet. If you need anything like that at all, get yourself over to Baxter Cycle in the mighty mini-tropolis of Marnie right here. This is a bustling mighty mini-tropolis. Probably 100 people here during the day and 160 at night. So, you know, get yourself over here and check it out. Or go to baxtercycle.com and make sure you tell those fine folks that Fuzzy Biker sent you. Hit like and subscribe if you would. Leave a comment down below. Now, it is a beautiful day out here, and I am going to go hop on a motorcycle, that motorcycle, and I'm going to go for a ride. Probably going to go home because I got a big trip to Colorado to do tomorrow. So life is good, my friends. Life is good. Get out there and ride. Get out there and live it. Get off the couch. Wahoo! Yippee-yi-yay! Yippee-yi-yo! Down the road we go. Beautiful, beautiful machine.